A McDonald's cheeseburger once in a while can taste really great, but that is not gonna be sustaining. And I'm looking for something that is going to sustain me. And that's what I'm getting to find now.
More of a lasting impression than a cheeseburger.
Yeah, and a lot less farting.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. And without any further ado, let me introduce our amazing guest here today, Heather Matarazzo.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing as well as one can be, knowing that we have a historic hurricane coming.
Oh, Jesus.
To LA.
Oh, I heard about that. Are you going to be in town for that, or are you going to be at least away from it?
We will see what happens.
Gotcha.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm hoping for the best. I love LA. I'm there as often as I possibly can, so I really hope everything's all right.
Yeah, well, but I'm very happy to be here with you now.
Yeah.
Now is the most important moment.
This is your second, whatchamacallit, con that you've done with us anyway.
Yes.
You were at the pop culture convention before.
That is correct.
And now here you are at the horror convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you do these a lot?
I just started within this past year, so it's a relatively new experience for me.
I mean, they're always so much fun, and I'm sure, like, you've had such, like, an extensive career, so, like, I'm sure people come up to you and ask you about, like, so many different projects that you've done, and, like, I'm sure you've, like, forgotten about some of them, even, like, oh, I wasn't that.
I mean, there are definitely things that I'm surprised by that I haven't thought about in a second, but for me, it really is, I'm an introvert by nature, and, it's so nice to be able to be in a space with fellow misfits and artists and just getting to connect and getting to commune and getting to hang out and getting to know one another.
Yeah.
It's a very, very special experience.
And I'm sure that you see people that you've, like, known for years over time at these type of things, like maybe you haven't seen since, like, you've worked with them in the past. So it's also probably like a fun reunion for you, huh?
Yeah, and even people that I haven't worked with that I'm just either a fan of or our paths have crossed in one way or another. It's a lot of fun, and it's a very unique experience.
Do you have any, like, memorable moments at all of, like, somebody that you ran into when you were, like, starstruck the way somebody might be starstruck to see you?
Oh gosh, I will say that I was at a convention and Margaret O'Brien, who was in Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland.
Oh, I know who she is.
She was there, and I didn't want to meet her because I was way too nervous. And my agent was like, no, we're going to go and you're going to meet her. And I met her. I probably sounded like a babbling idiot. And then after I left her presence, I started sobbing. And it was so unexpected. I'm not really a crier, but that's the power of storytelling. That's the power of, getting to be a creative artist, where the little kid in me that grew up with her, that really, like, I want to be held by Judy Garland in that way, and just...
Don't we all?
I mean, come on. And it meant the world to my inner kid. So that is one that will forever be remembered in my mind and my heart.
That's definitely something that always happens here. Like, like, people come and, like, they grew up watching certain people, like, admiring certain people. So, like, and, like, you're one of those people, like, I've been watching you since I was a child. Like your first role in the first show, I remember that was my favorite episode of that show. But still, that's such a sweet story, and I'm glad that like you're able to experience the same things that we're experiencing, like when meeting like not just you, but like all the people that come to these types of things.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's where else would you ever get to have an experience like this?
Exactly.
You
When
know?
it's all just right there for you.
Yeah, and I've been very fortunate that the conventions that I've gotten to go to, everybody has been incredibly warm and respectful and kind, and that's not always the case in the world. So I'm grateful to know that when I come to this space, I feel safe and welcome.
Yeah, we always try to keep these types of things like a safe space.
Pardon me, I'm battling a cold. It's not COVID. I've taken so many fucking tests. Jesus Christ.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
You mentioned that you're an introvert, but you're like such an amazing like performer and artist and stuff. Like, what was it that inspired you to get into like the world of acting and like art and what have you?
Oh gosh. I mean, I can get esoteric and pull an answer out of my ass, and sound really bougie and ridiculous. Or I can really just say the desire to learn about myself and the desire to learn about others.
The desire to like create and what have you as well.
Well, I mean, I think that really, truly, like every moment we get to create, and we are creating, whether or not we're aware of it, through the choices that we make, through the conversations that we have, whether it's creating new relationships, whether it's creating ideas, whether it's, that's all there really is, and I love getting to be an actor, and I love getting to be an artist, because I really, really, really am fascinated by the human condition. And who are we? Why are we here? Why do we do what we do? And I feel that my job as an artist and my job as a human being is to wake up myself so that hopefully other people can, hear that silent alarm within themselves and be like, oh, yeah, that's a way to go. That's something that we can do, and there's no better way to do that than through storytelling, than through empathy, than through connection with an idea, a feeling. We're human beings, not human doings.
That's a good way of putting it.
So
a lot of going on in Hollywood right now.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
So, how do you feel about that? Like,
well, I'm very thankful. I'm getting all my steps in, as are my health apps. Here's the truth regarding the WGA strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike. It's a microcosm of a macrocosm. Every single person deserves a living wage, period, end of story. That's it.
absolutely.
Like, I don't care who the fuck you are and what the fuck you do. Like, every single person. So we've had, the local 11 on strike with us, and those are the hotel workers. We've had Starbucks workers. We have Teamsters. We have IATSE. We are at a pinnacle point in this society, and I think that enough people are recognizing that we cannot go on this way. Billionaires should not exist. There is no such thing as an ethical billionaire.
Absolutely not. Billionaires are not your friends.
Like, they're fucking not. And we're all, including myself, one step closer to homelessness than I am to being a millionaire. And I think it's interesting because with SAG in particular, we've been fed a narrative for decades. I mean, if you think of like the gossip magazines, you think of Entertainment Weekly, you think of stars, they're just like us. You know, you think of like lifestyles of the rich and famous, you know. 87% of the members of SAG will not be able to qualify for health insurance this year. The minimum requirement is $26,000.
Do you mind if I ask how long it took for you to qualify for that into your career?
Well, when I first joined SAG in 1996, healthcare was free.
How times have changed.
Like, healthcare was free. You know, I was able to support myself in between projects, you know, because this is something else that a lot of people don't know, where it's, let's say a TV show or a movie wants me, right?
As they very well should.
But they put a pin in my dates, being like, okay, she's going to need to be available from April to July. We don't know when we might use her. We don't know if we're going to use her, but you have to be put on hold, and you're not getting paid. So then I can't take any other potential job. It literally is, we're being held hostage.
Yeah.
In all of these different various ways. It's not just financially, you know? And these studios have a tremendous amount of power and leverage, and the truth is that we are the means of production, and people forget that. Without us, there is nothing. Without the UPS workers, we don't get packages. Without hotel workers, we don't get our breakfast in the morning. We don't get clean rooms. We don't get checked in. You know, we are essential. We are essential workers. We're all essential workers. And one of the big fights right now has to do with artificial intelligence. You know, it has to do with, in all the ways, taking away our not only livelihoods, but our what makes us us, what makes us unique, what makes us special. You know, like AI couldn't write AI couldn't write scripts. You know, I mean, they can, but they fucking suck.
Agreed. And like taking
and does AI know empathy?
Likeness.
Does AI know empathy? And that gets into like that greater discussion, right? Where it's like, what is consciousness? What is it to be awake? What is it to have thought? Where do thoughts come from? What are thoughts? I haven't smoked weed, I promise. This is just me on a Saturday afternoon, stone cold sober. But these are the things that I do think of, you know, because again, at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller. And these are the questions that we have been asking ourselves and each other for eons. And it's only been within like a relative amount of history that we've stopped really asking those questions, partially because most of us are working 3 to 4 jobs minimum that we barely have time to fucking think of questions like this, let alone anything else.
Exactly. Like, people are out there like just suffering through like jobs that don't appreciate them, and like it just doesn't feel worth it at this point, you know? Yeah. And it's everyone always says to know your worth, and then when you actually do know your worth, then you're the problem.
Well, that's why unions are important. That's why getting to have the ability to go on strike is important. Because I travel a lot, I like to talk to flight attendants, and I like to ask them about, like, are you a member of the union? And apparently, flight attendants, all of them have a union, save for Delta. And this is the thing that's really fucked, is that each airline has its own, for flight attendants, has its own unique union, right? So like Southwest flight attendants have their own union. American Airlines flight attendants have their own union. But the pilots have one general union, right? And so they're able to band together more to demand what it is that they deserve. But flight attendants, on the other hand, don't have that same luxury. So I've been trying to like just plant some seeds, being like, instead of having like many unions for like essentially the same job, just get one. Like, who are the flight attendants that are the angriest, that are like, fuck this shit, and like are ready to like do some stuff? Like those are the ones that like get things done.
Yeah.
You know, like it's that passion. Passion is everything when it's directed towards something that gets to benefit the many.
I can tell you feel very strongly about this, and that's really good because like you don't want them using your likeness and like not like letting
because I want to be able to see what a writer says, feels, what is that human experience. AI does not have that. Like it's
baffling to even like imagine that like this is something that needs to be fought for. You know what I mean? Like it's even a possibility that that's what's going to take over.
Well, I also then think of, because I always try to look at the bright side, you know, performing will never stop. Stories will never stop being told. So even if it ends up getting to be going back into the day where it's, you know, a spontaneous performance of something in a park where an audience gets together, because, okay, sorry, I'm just gonna take a breath. I'm gonna put my feet down so I can get very, very, very clear and stay grounded with the statement I'm about to make.
Okay.
Storytelling builds community, and we have never been more isolated than we are right now, in all ways. And so when you take away something like that, you take away a fundamental building block that we need in order to have compassion, empathy, understanding, an exchange of ideas, an exchange of thought, and getting to grow into a society that is actually equitable for all. And if you take away one of the pinnacles, which is a human writing their experience with which then actors and dramaturgs get to play out, and a director gets to envision, and a DP that gets to hold it to get, like, we've got nothing, and that's why we're willing to fight. That's why we're willing to do this, because we believe that storytelling is essential. Because we believe community is essential.
And like storytelling comes from experience, and what experience does a computer have? And
not only just experience, but what is my greatest fear? In what way am I willing to feel safe enough to feel unsafe, to go into my conscious unconscious, to uncover something that I might not necessarily like about myself? But through the discovery of that process, I can only hope that it will be of service to someone else. Like, we all have a story. I'm sure if I sat down with every single one of you, and some of you might be thinking like, nah, I haven't got a story. I've got a boring life. I just go to work, But then you start asking questions, right? Like, when was the first time you were ever bullied? Were you ever bullied? Did you ever bully anyone else? Why? What was your relationship like with your dad? What was your relationship like with your mom? Did you have a dad? Did you have a mom? How did that make you feel? How did that skew your perception of the world that you're getting to live in? Oh, and then we start to see a story starts to unfold. Like, we are the authors of our own life. We are the authors of our story. And none of that happens in a vacuum. But and that's why, if writing was easy, everybody would do it. It's not. It takes a special kind of madness and insanity and, to a certain degree, sadomasochistic tendencies to sit alone in a room and pull out the ugliest parts of yourself and bring them into the light, because there is something bigger than you that is dying to come out.
That's beautiful. Like, I'm speechless, honestly.
Try that, AI.
Exactly.
Suck it.
A computer's not bringing that kind of emotion out in me at all.
No.
Does anybody have any questions for Heather? Yes.
Do you feel like in our society, art in general and artists in general are devalued? I'm a musician and I've always had to work other jobs in order to support my art. My daughter's a dancer, same with her.
Are you from the United States?
Yes.
Then the answer is absolutely yes. Because the United States, I mean, for fuck's sakes, it's a corporation posing as a government. You know, I mean, you look at Canada, you look at Sweden, you look at France, you look at all of the grants that artists get, where they treat their artists with respect because they believe that art is important and essential, because it is. And that's why, you know, they're where they are and we're where we are. No, it's not. No, it's not. But it gets to come in many different forms. It's that, you know, there's something that I absolutely love that the Irish do, at least in very early Christian culture, Ireland, and pre-Christian culture, and it's called keening, where they hire people who are professional grievers to come and they lament the dead. That is an art, to hold the space for all of that grief and to have it come into a beautiful sound that is haunting. You know, it's also part of how we got the mythology of the banshees. You know, we're all artists. Every single one of us is an artist. Someone's art might be physics. Another person's art might be woodworking. Another person's art might getting to be bringing out the joy in others. You know, but there's no there's no specific parameter that you have to meet in terms of artistry, I would say, except the willingness to be vulnerable, the willingness to be an amateur. And a lot of people don't like that word, but the origin, the etymology of that word is to love. Amour, amateur, to love something that you're willing to do it. So I hope that answered your question.
Amazing. I'm getting emotional. Anybody else have any questions for Heather?
Hey.
Hi. You're clearly very passionate about the craft of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever considered doing work behind the camera?
I have.
And if so, what story would you want to tell?
Well, I am right now in the middle of writing a play, which is loosely based on my experience of meeting my birth mom. I thought I would just jump in the fucking deep end with that one. And it's been something that I've been working on I started it a decade ago, and then it was too much for me, and I put it down for almost 10 years, and then I picked it up again in the pandemic, then I put it down again, and then I picked it up again. And that's what art looks like. That's what writing looks. That is the creative process. Sometimes it can take something 15 fucking years, and sometimes you can have something written out in like 5 weeks. But I feel like I'm just starting to come into my own as an artist and as a writer, and getting to claim my voice in a way that has nothing to do with commerce, that has nothing to do with the potentiality of future success, and allowing it to be whatever it's going to be, and trusting the inner signals that I get, where this needs to come out, and this is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done in my entire fucking life, but I've just kind of got to let go and let God and trust and just show up. And I'm thankful that I get to show up, you know.
Well, like, your passion like shows that it's like you're wearing it on your sleeve, and that's really like admirable of you, because like it's like you said, you're coming into yourself fully now, and you're not holding back, and like you're letting us all know exactly how you feel, and I think that's amazing.
Oh, honey, that I've always done. That I've always done. I've always let people know how I feel. And I guess I mean more specifically, again, we all have been raised and grown up in a capitalistic society, right? And we all have this idea of what success looks like. And the success that I had my eyes on when I was younger is vastly different than the success that I am allowing into my life now. And it is night and day. And there's an ego death that kind of has to come along with it. You know, like sometimes the dreams that you had as a kid, you have to let those dreams die. So the deeper dreams of your adult get to be born and flourish. You know, so I kind of had to let the dreams of my inner kid die because I've got greater dreams still.
Because there were better things on the horizon.
Not even better, just deeper. Like, you know, it's a McDonald's cheeseburger once in a while can taste really fucking great, but that is not gonna be sustaining. And I'm looking for something that is going to sustain me. And that's what I'm getting to find now.
More of a lasting impression than a cheeseburger.
Yeah, and a lot less farting.
Oh my God. Well, so the play, you were able to, you know, like go deep inside yourself. You had to take a little break from that, and now you're like coming back into it. What do you see in the future for that? If
I don't. It really is.
It's just something that's
I'm
for
here
you
to show up for
right
the
now?
work. I'm here to show up for the work, and whatever iteration it's going to. I need to finish the fucker first.
True.
Let me fucking finish it, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm excited for what's possible to come.
Thank you, honey.
Because I like I said, like I admire all of what you do, and I would love to see. Like I haven't seen anything that you've written, so getting to see something that like digging so deep inside yourself to bring out will help people like learn more about you as a person as well.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
I mean, yes, and yes, for sure, 100%. And also, again, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, you know. Like you're gonna have your interpretation of the piece, and that's your interpretation. But that doesn't mean that, oh, that means Heather is ba 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 ba. Because again, at least for me as a writer, and I think a lot of writers feel this way, and I definitely know as an actor I feel this way, you know, the energy of a character comes, and you just have to kind of brace for impact and see where they're going to take you, you know, and there's almost like getting to be a channel to a certain regard, where it's, I don't know where some of the shit comes from, and it comes. And because I'm not worried about what other people are going to think about it, because that's not what I'm focusing on in the moment that I'm writing. I'm really writing because these characters are knocking on the fucking door saying, let me out, I've got something to fucking share. You know, and sometimes I'm like, I need a break. And then sometimes they go away and they don't come back for a while. And then I'm like, oh no, what did I do? I lost them forever. They're never going to come back. What am I going to do? And then they come back, and then I have to answer the call. It's answering the call. That's what it is. It's a call to adventure. It's the call to the creative adventure. You know, Joseph Campbell talks about that in The Power of Myth. You know, we all have our own call of adventure to answer to or not.
True. Is there anything else that you like to do to like get your creative juices flowing? Like any like things that make you feel good?
Weed.
Oh, yes, girl. Yes.
That's always nice.
I'm right there with you on that one.
Weed and sleep.
They go hand in hand sometimes. Sometimes it will keep you up.
That is true.
It's all a coin toss.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, does anybody else want to ask Heather anything? Yes.
Out of all your films, which one is
I'm not allowed to talk about any of them because of the SAG strike, and I want to respect that. But maybe one day when I write a book, I will.
All right, I'm going to wait for that book because I want to read it. This hypothetical book that's coming out.
There you go. Well,
But-
thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, Heather.
Of course.
Seriously, it was so nice talking to you. Everybody go visit Heather at her table. Obviously, she's got some great stories.
I sure do.
Oh, wait. Come back. We have a little surprise for you.
What are you talking about?
We have a little surprise for you.
What?
We have a little award for you because we adore you so much.
Oh my God.
For you. Because you are so awesome. You're such
Oh
an
my
awesome actor,
God.
and you're a real person, and we thought we'd honor you today.
Oh, sweetheart. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful.
You're the horror queen. This show.
Oh, thank you, honey. That's beautiful. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Awards.
Yeah.
So I took the print from your dress, Princess Diaries
Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate that.
premiere, and then the bottom half is Hostel too.
Wonderful. Thank you, honey. Thank you, thank you, thank
Extremely
you.
well deserved. Extremely
Thank
well
you.
deserved.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, honey.
You're very
All
welcome.
right,
you,
everybody
darling.
give it up for Heather.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.